sons of Adam and daughters of Eve. Welcome to Stories and Stanzas, a space where stories come to life. This week's story is written by Odibo Choma and it's titled Red Water. My master, who was a very wealthy man in Cana of Galilee, had a son who was about to get married. The preparation for the wedding took a space of 4 months. They were going to have guests from all walks of life. Nothing was to go wrong. I, alongside fellow servants, was to serve and wait tables at the wedding. The ceremony was a 3 days event. There was plenty to eat and drink. We were always on our toes, never getting enough time to rest. On the third day, something really strange happened. We ran out of wine. We didn't know how that had happened. We were so scared and worried because our master would have us arrested for embarrassing him and his son if he found out about it. We were all confused and didn't know what to do. Then a fellow servant told Mary, the wife of Joseph, what the situation was. Her cousin was a wine vendor. We had half expected her to speak to her cousin, but she spoke to her son instead. His name was Jesus. He and his disciples had been invited on account of his mother. "What has this concern of yours got to do with me, woman?" Jesus replied her when she told him what the situation was. "My hour has not yet come," he said calmly. What does he mean by his hour has not yet come? I thought, if there's any hour to buy more wine, that hour was now. Now we had set aside 6 stone jars for the Jewish purification. Each contained 20 or 30 gallons. Jesus looked at the jars, then turned to us and said, "Fill the jars with water." We need more wine, and this man was asking us to fetch water. We don't have time for that, I thought. But Mary was a respected woman in Galilee, so we obeyed and filled all the jars with water. "Now, draw some out and take it to the master of the ceremony," he said. We began to look at each other. This guy was obviously out of his mind, we thought. Does he have any idea what would be done to us if our master found out we served water instead of wine to his guests? He'd have us all hanged. We looked at Mary with confusion written all over us. "Do whatever he tells you," she said to us. I was the highest in rank amongst us, so the duty to take the water to the master of the ceremony fell on me. So I drew some water. Looking at Jesus, he had a calm smile on his face. He wasn't disturbed one bit. I took frantic steps to the front of the event, where the master of the ceremony was, looking back at intervals, checking if Jesus was still there. I didn't know what he was up to, but I wasn't going to take chances. If this was a trick and he tried to run, I'll run after him. But Jesus wasn't even paying attention to what he had asked me to do. He was so relaxed and had started eating and talking with people. His undisturbed attitude bothered me a little, but I put up a brave face and a smile as I handed over the cup to the master of the ceremony. As it left my hands into his, the water changed into wine immediately. I gasped and looked into the cup surprised and terrified. He saw the look on my face and asked if everything was all right. Everything is fine, sir. I just realized the cup wasn't full, I said with a sad smile. "It's all right. I'll have it like that," he replied. When he tasted the water after it had turned to wine, he called the groom and told him, "Everybody sets out the fine wine first. Then after people have drunk freely, the inferior, but you have kept the fine wine until now. If you've got a story or poem you'd like to be featured on this podcast, send me a message at Pencil Speaks on Instagram or a mail at pencilspeaks01 at gmail.com. I look forward to telling the world your story.